Hello everyone, thanks for being here today. I truly appreciate your time and attention. So, today I want to talk about the Victorian Child Safe Standards, not simply as the policies that we follow, but also as the principles that shape how we teach and we care for children. These standards are all about creating the environments that every child should feel safe, respected, and included. Today, I will focus on the three standards that are especially meaningful. First, the cultural safety. Second, empowering children, and equity and diversity. These shape our daily practice and remind us that safety includes emotional, social, and cultural well being, not just protection from the physical harm. So, I'll be sharing some real examples of what I plan to do, reflect our challenges on what I might face, and offer practical responses and explain this has personally shifted how I approach my role. Okay, so let us begin with the cultural safety, which is the first aspect of the early childhood education. As an educator, I want all children, regardless of any cultural background, they need to feel genuinely welcomed. Recognizing the diversity is not just enough. Therefore, we need to actively celebrate each child's culture and their heritage. So, just let's try it understanding with an example. Suppose we have children from an Indian background. So, there what I might include is simple Hindi words into everyday conversation. So that those conversations might be some common greetings in the morning or while leaving. They can be their names, the meaning of the names, that might be colors, that can be food, that can be and much more what we can include. So that would be either uh, some Indian dance, some music we can play, or we can just taste something good, like as if taking an example of the chapati, which is their traditional food. So I would also create a language wall that would feature the greetings in many languages, such as maybe Punjabi, maybe Hindi, or any other regional language. And it might help the children to feel seen and proud of their roots. But there are few obstacles that maybe one of them may be the unconditional bias. So, unconscious bias or the unconditional bias, which can lead the educators to make assumptions without realizing that it might be based on children's background. Such assumptions can affect how we interact with them. It is also hard to find the genuine resources such as books maybe or posters or anything similar that can reflect the diverse cultures. And educators often worry about the cultural disrespect or making mistakes when introducing unfamiliar traditions. This is how I plan to respond to such situations. First, maybe the ongoing learning. So, not just training once, but regular and interactive conversations among the staff for sharing the ideas, asking questions, and addressing the missteps that it can lead to. The second could be the community partnership. So, community partnership is something where we need to invite the families to visit the centers. We can ask them to share their customs or their traditions. So, the involvement help us learn, and the children feel more affirmed about the presence of their roots for their parents and their culture. The third could be the reflective practice, which is building in time to think how my background, how the children's background, or how everyone's background can influence the classroom, and to grow from those feedbacks whatever we can and creating the new awareness. So these are all the aspects that could really embrace the cultural safety in an early education setup. Okay, so coming to the next thing, which is the empowering children through active participation. So I believe every child deserves a real voice and not just a superficial choice, but a genuine in how they feel in that particular setup. So considering there's a play group of 4-year-old children. So instead of dictating them the schedule for the day, or just by telling them what they are going to have for the day, I might simply begin by asking, what do you like to explore today? Or maybe I would ask, would that be blogs, painting, nature, crafts? I would give them an option to decide what they want to go for. So when children share their interest, I follow through, and this is what means our plan shift. Maybe our plan shift for the whole day, but this is what we can include. Suppose this one child suggesting building a bug hotel. Let's say a thing saying bug hotel. So from that one idea, we ended up creating it together. Maybe drawing insects, exploring outdoors, seeing different birds, maybe insects, maybe butterflies, and working as a team. That child who usually stayed quiet suddenly bloomed because we just considered his idea. So this is how the empowering children through active participation helps. We just consider their ideas to be included. I recognize that not all children speak very easily. Some of them are quite hard to handle, or maybe they are not that open to the environment because they're just coming out of the families. So that might be a reason they are not feeling that included. So some of them, they are shy, and some struggle with words. Sometimes it is also with the children. So to support them, I would use some visual tools such as maybe filling charts or choice cards, maybe drawings, or dividing them into a small group of children where they feel safer expressing themselves, because in larger groups usually the student feels shy, or maybe they're not able to express themselves. So creating smaller groups can help them better grow. Then time pressure. This is a different challenge. That is totally when you are in a setup, you need to consider the time. So it is tempting to make quick decisions for the efficiency. But each time we slow down and we listen, we build trust and empower the children. So maybe at times just considering that time pressure, even though inculcating that in the classroom setup, we can include those ideas even for a few minutes or maybe for few time. But yes, that helps a lot. They learn from this, the children, they learn that their opinions really matter, and that helps them build the confidence, the responsibility, and they are in a deeper engagement while in the setup. Now let us talk about the third standard, which is the equity and the diversity. So in general, equity means ensuring that every child gets what they need to thrive and not treating everyone identically. Diversity is about recognizing and honoring the differences, not forcing the children to simply mold. So these are the two aspects that come under the third standard, which is equity and diversity. So let us take this as an example. So imagine a child whose home language is not English. ठीक है. I would introduce some visual schedules, some bilingual labels, and pair them with a peer who speaks the language. For a child with sensory sensitivities, I might offer a quieter corner, maybe with the headphones or flexible participation options, whether he is trying to get into the group or not, depending upon, and letting him give that corner a quiet corner to work on. So it is all about observing the child's needs and adapting to the environment. Yet centers sometimes lack the resources, which is obviously very true. There is not there's not full-time specialist or extra aides present in every center. So here's what I purpose to build with the local partnership with charities, volunteers, speech or occupational therapy programs. These can provide support without putting extra strain on our budgets. So maybe this might help to the children who need those facilities maybe. So we also need to connect with families regularly, which is very important. Parents often spot what their child needs, but they do not feel comfortable asking for help. Building trust through home visits, informal conversations, or regular check ins helps the identity needs, and it opens the pathway to further support the children as a early learner in the education. Okay, working through the standards have changed the way I understand the child safety. While in the past I thought that keeping children safe was mostly about preventing them from any accidents, from any injuries or something, but I have learned that real safety, that is much more deeper than what we understand. It is the emotional, the cultural, and the relational part. It means that the children feel valued, their voices they matter, and they feel belonged, so they are all included in every aspect. I've also confronted my own biases. Without active reflection, it is easy to slip back into the habitual thinking, but by committing to regular reflection and welcoming the feedbacks from the colleagues, from the families, from parents, or from the children, an educator grows better. Perhaps not importantly, but mostly it is that what I have learned is to trust the children more, to listen them very deeply when they are just showing any gestures, they are explaining something, and to involve them in every decisions, to let them feel they belong to that decision and to support their autonomy, even when it takes more time and more effort. But still, this is what we need to inculcate. These experiences have made me more patient, more present, and more confident in nurturing each child's capacities. Concluding to all of this, the Victorian child safety standards are not just the bureaucratic requirements. They are the backbone of the thoughtful, the inclusive, and the compassionate teaching. When we practice the cultural safety, so we are telling children that they belong to the place, that they belong amongst us. When we empower these children, so we are honoring them, we honor their voice, and this builds confidence in them. When we commit to a early childhood setup, when we commit to the equity and the diversity, we ensure that every child has support that they need, we provide them all the support that is required to them. So yes, there will be challenges such as limited funding, maybe time constraints, maybe unconscious bias that we talked about, but still, by working together with families, with the communities and colleagues, and through continuous learning, we can address these barriers and we can create a richer and a better learning space for these children. As I move forward to my teaching practice, I carry with me a renewed sense of purpose, which is to create the classrooms where children feel safe. The safety includes emotional well being, it will include the cultural affirmation, it will have the individual participation. So, I want to be that educator who notices even when a child is going quiet, who seeks to understand that rather than just assuming, you find the kids practically to include everywhere in every aspect, even if they are not getting included, to know what is the reason for this. So yes, thank you so much for listening, guys. I'm very excited about the journey and I'm grateful to continue it alongside colleagues who share a vision of safe, inclusive, and the empowering spaces for children. Thank you so much.